Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. And as always, your host here, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we are going to discuss the recent ice shooting of the man named Alex Pretti. We're also going to discuss all the morons out there who are now trying to compare the Kyle Rittenhouse self-defense to the Alex Pretti shooting when there is, in fact, no comparison between them. I mean, unless you want to compare Alex Pretti to someone like Gage Grosskreutz, Joshua Zeminski, or any of the other jackasses that were trying to kill Kyle that night. So, But that being said, I'm also going to do a little taste test review today because I got out my one of the cans of stuff I got the other day, which was a Smirnoff Ice Smash Blue Raspberry and Lemonade, which apparently has 8% alcohol in it and is 23.5 ounces. So apparently canned at the Smirnoff facility in Plainfield, Illinois. So we'll see how this tastes. I've never tried one of these before, so this one was either, I forget, this was $2.73 or $3 for this. But obviously, you guys can tell I'm kind of cold right now, so I got the throw on the shoulders again. Just to see what this actually looks like. I assume it'll be a blue coloration. Yep, it's like blue. It looks like some candy I've had before. So, take a sip of this and see if it tastes good or not. Yeah. I've had better. I've had worse too, though. It's almost on par with the, what do you call it now? The Arizona tea, the hard ones of those that are the, I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it black tea? No, Southern sweet tea, that's what it was. It was the hard Southern sweet tea that I've had before. And that was, like, the difference between that and this, it's a similar, like, flavor palette. Difference there, though, is that the Arizona ones, that particular one with the Southern sweet tea, that stuff is god-awful because it has way too much alcohol flavor in it, where you basically need to, like, mix it with something else to get, like, the alcohol flavor down to where it doesn't burn your throat, basically, is what it is there. Whereas the Smirnoff Smash, it definitely has, like, a weird flavor combination to it. I don't think they got enough, like, blue raspberry flavoring in it to really coat, like, the alcohol taste is what it is, and that's why I'm, like, having, like, the taste of alcohol when I'm drinking this, so. Yeah, there's not really a hint of any lemonade in there at all, so I don't know why they call this blue raspberry lemonade when it's all I can taste is like the blue raspberry flavoring. So anyway, moving on to what we're going to talk about today, though. So I noticed there was a bunch of people on Facebook, on Instagram, etc., that are now trying to compare the Kyle Rittenhouse self-defense to the Alex Pretti shooting there in Minnesota the other day. And like I said, begin with in this whole episode, there really is no comparison between the two things because you had Rittenhouse, who was invited to Kenosha by a business owner to literally protect his business from being burned to the ground. That's what he and other people were doing that night. Kyle was also a paramedic in Kenosha, or at least was not paramedic, he was a lifeguard in Kenosha. His father lived in Kenosha. He and his mom lived in a place about 20 minutes that, like, bordered Kenosha. between the Wisconsin and Illinois borders. There's what it was. And the people out there, and again, there's also people out there that are still being like, well, Rittenhouse should have never been there. He wasn't his community. The fuck it wasn't, dude. His father literally lived there. He stayed there with his dad from time to time. He had worked there as a lifeguard. Like, yes, it was his community. So, where with the Alex Pretti shooting, I'm not so sure that actually was his community there or not. And the fact that he himself admitted before his death there that he basically got energized over that retard Renee Good just shows the kind of leftist mindset of these people. And the thing is, too, trying to compare a 17-year-old kid to a 37-year-old man who was 31 at the time of Kyle's, self-defense back in 2020. There is no comparison there, dude. Again, you'd be better off saying that Alex Pretti was basically Gage Grosskreutz 2026 is what it is there. A fucking idiot who was trying to kill Kyle back in 2020 and took second place and lost a bicep in the situation. There's what it was when he tried to murder Kyle. So, yeah, it's a stupid comparison in general. What we do know, though, is that Alex Pretti basically was carrying. I was looking this up to make sure on different things because I wasn't sure exactly what the deal was with the whole thing. Apparently, I guess, under Minnesota law, because piece of shit Tim Walz is an anti-gun fuckboy is what it is, you actually have to have a CTW just to open carry in that state, and that was what it is, which supposedly at the time of Alex's death, he did not even have an ID at all for that matter, let alone a CCW on him is what it was. So he was open carrying in a state that requires you to basically have a CCW on you and didn't have it on him, which is a gross misdemeanor, 364 days in jail, $3,000, $5,000 fine, from my understanding. That being said, does that justify his death? Probably not. However, maybe don't get up in fucking faces of federal agents and fuck around, because you might just find out what it is there. So, I don't know. I feel like this whole thing could have been prevented had Trump just enacted the Insurrection Act already is what it is then. Like, if he just invoked the Insurrection Act like a week or two ago in Minnesota, this whole thing could have been dealt with. But unfortunately, did not do that. So now you got this shit happening. And now the response to this, you have even more doubling down of leftist incitement, leftist rhetoric. Socialified terrorism is what it really is. Which those don't know what socialified terrorism is. It's basically when you have these idiot morons out there that are in the political spectrum, whether they be a state rep, state senator, congressman, whatever the case be, going out there and being all like, oh yeah, you guys should take to the streets, etc., etc. Like Frey has done in the past as mayor of Minneapolis, like Walz has done in the past as governor of Minnesota, like all these other dipshits, like Crockett has done in the past a bunch of times. Now you have all these other Iranian Islamic terrorist women who are in power. They're doing the same fucking thing as what it is then. And on top of all that, then you have a situation where the people that are hearing that think it's okay to go do that stuff, and they go do that stuff. And this is what you're seeing a lot now with the leftist social media influencers, what it is too, for that matter, because they're the ones going out there and openly telling these leftists to go buy guns and fight ICE. And of course, you're going to have leftists go buy guns and fight ICE because that's what it is then. And it's not okay, man. Like, stop doing crime. Like, seriously, like, here's a wild idea. Maybe don't create the fucking Maz. Maybe don't create a Minnesota version of the Chaz is what it is. Maybe stay the fuck home. Maybe don't go to fucking protest or riots or something else for that matter. And then think you're going to be fucking bulletproof is what it is. And it really goes back to suicidal empathy at the left at this point, honestly, in many cases. So, and it's just sad, man. And I think it was Mr. Guns and Gear was the one that brought it up the other day. I think other people talked about it too, for that matter, where he was discussing how in Minnesota, under their state law, what is like classified as like a riot, basically, or at least like an aggravated protest or something, as what it is there, where you cannot be armed, and that's exactly what one of the statutes was that fell into the Alex Pretti situation, what it is there. So one thing I do think is kind of weird, though, is that the fact that this guy was an ICU nurse, and he kind of looked like a discount Noah Wiley. So, like, I don't know if there's like that's like the things that struck me about this man, obviously, the most was like how he kind of looked like Noah Wiley a little bit, or at least the character Noah Wiley portrays in that show that is what it is now. And then the fact the guy was a ICU nurse, where in that show Noah Wiley is a doctor in the ER is what it is there. So yeah, it's kind of a weird deal, honestly, on that one. So, and you would think too, being like, basically a trauma nurse is what it is, that you would, know better than to go out there and like fuck with law enforcement in general is what it is, man. So I'm gonna say this guy was maybe a few bricks shy of a load is what it is, honestly. Which it seems like that's the way with most of these leftist types that are like either suicidal, empathetic, or have taken the jabs in the past and stuff like that's what it is there, where their brain function is just not all there is what it is anymore. So, I mean, that's a given because, Washington, D.C. is a shithole and Maryland is basically a suburb of D.C. at this point, honestly. So, I guess D.C. would be a suburb of Maryland, maybe is what it is. It's either way, it's situation there is what it is then. So, I don't know. I'm just getting pretty sick and tired of seeing the leftist rhetoric just keep popping up back and forth is what it is then. And I feel like these people are going to find out very soon is what it is, man. Like, whether it be you have military or something else for that matter, get, like an Insurrection Act invocation, and they just go out there and they just start, like, shooting water cans at these people in, sub-degree weather is what it is then. Or maybe they decide to create some kind of a steam thing where you basically would, like, figure out a way to, like, replace, like, I guess it'd be like a flamethrower pack almost with some kind of, like, super hot water in it. And then it would become steam. And then you just, like, spray the people with the steam is what it is then. Because I think that would be worse, actually, especially in sub-degree weather, even if it was, like, warm steam, because then you're just, like, freezing is what it is then. So, but, yeah, either way, it's just not good, man. It's just not good. These people are just morons is what it is. And in so many cases, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. They don't want to get it what it is, or they're just, like, very ignorant of what it is there. I was watching a video here a couple hours ago where it was them. It was one of these anti-ICE protests there in Georgia at some high school. And it's now being revealed that high school that it happened at, which in the video, like a bunch of black and Latino kids that were walking out there, would be like one or two white girls among them, if that even. And yeah, the entire school system there for that high school has a 6% efficiency, 6% proficiency in math, and only 16% of the school population for that school can actually read. So that's pretty pathetic, dude. Not even 1 in 5 kids in that school can read. And they're out there bitching about ICE. And this is usually it's a society is what it is, dude. I also want to make a point to point out the fact that when you look at the welfare system currently is what it is, the two biggest net drains on our welfare system currently that take out like way more than they ever put in is Latinos are second last, and blacks are at the very bottom is what it is then. And I believe it's something between like 10 and 40% is what they're taking out compared to what they're putting in. Like they're taking out like 10 to 40 times more than they're putting in. So yeah, they're just complete drains on the system is what it is then. And it's like, why am I surprised? Or I'm not surprised when you have these morons being the ones that are leading these retarded ass like anti-ICE protests, anti-American protests, etc. There's what it is. So it's not surprising at all, because I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we did a comparison of that school of how many of the students' parents were on welfare systems and stuff like that, what it is there. And I'd be surprised if it wasn't a lot, honestly. Like I would think it would be like coin flips at that point, if it would be 50% or not, honestly. So, but anyway, it is what it is, though. But yeah, the people that are trying to compare Rittenhouse to Purdy is just fucking stupid. It's a stupid ass comparison. It's an insult to Kyle Rittenhouse, is what it is. It's really just an insult to society at that point. And to me, what it seems like, honestly, is that we really have like somewhere between like a 2 and a 4-pronged attack by both the left and the rhino right at this point to attack gun rights is what it is. And I say that because of the fact when you look at the things going on right now, you have Tim Walz, who's an anti-gun governor, who has pushed a bunch of anti-gun shit for so long now. Meanwhile, at the same time, he's talking on the other side of his mouth and telling people to go basically fight in the streets against ICE. Then you have these leftist influencer types who could be low-key federal and either agents or informants for that matter, or just accelerationist type globalists paid, puppets what it is then, to try to do some color revolution, whatever, that are then telling all these leftist people to arm up now is what it is then. And then at the same time, you got people like Cindy Abrams here in Ohio and other Rhino Saxon shit out there that are, basically Democrats who have run for office and won as Republicans and are now trying to basically push red flag laws at state levels, what it is then. So, and this is also what Pam Bondi is too, for that matter. Like, she basically is the reason that Florida has red flag laws in it. She is the exact reason why you have like several thousand people down in Florida right now, or more for that matter. I'm not even sure. The last count I looked up was a couple thousand anyway, but it could be more than that now. But yeah, you have like several thousand people down there in Florida who should have their gun rights and don't, because Pam Bondi's piece of shit ass forced in red flag laws after the Parkland false flag is what it is. And we can talk about false flags all day for that matter too, for that, of how most of these current mass shootings that are all government done is what it is then, to push shit like that is what it is then. So, and that's another thing. This bitch is writing strongly worded letters to Tim Walz to be like, just knock it off, bro, instead of going there and arresting his ass for basically high treason at this point, which that's another thing that bothers me too. I was going back and forth with some guy on Twitter earlier today, because this guy was like, oh, but Pam Bondi's building all these strong cases and shit like that. Yeah, I'll believe it when I fucking see it, dude. I also have a bridge in I have a oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you too, for that matter. So I also have a bridge in California to sell you that hasn't been completed yet after, 20 years and like $2 trillion. So, because there's some embezzlement there is what it is then. But the entire point of the matter is that you have these fucking people who are just liars is what it is, dude. They're lying their fucking asses off. They're never going to prosecute anybody is what it is there. Because if they were, they already would have done it, honestly. They would have gone just how the left went after January 6 people, bust everybody on whatever the fuck they can, hold them illegally for like a year or two of their lives is what it is there. Completely breaking their Fifth Amendment rights is what it is. Fourth Amendment rights, Sixth Amendment rights, all that stuff like that is what it is then. And just fucking over basically is what it is there. And that's the problem that so many people on the right have right now is what it is, dude, is you see this shit from the left when they are in power, and then the right has no fucking balls to even do that stuff is what it is then. And it's because when you look at the right now, what is considered to be the political right in power currently is basically just 90s Democrat left is what it is there. So that just shows you how far the left has gone left at this point, because you have people that would have been Democrats 30 years ago that are now Republicans is what it is. And that's what pisses me off so much about the whole system is what it is right now, dude, because it's all basically, you just look at the entire system right now, and it's basically just the left in power. And that's the thing, like, there's really no uni party because it's all the same fucking party is what it is, dude. It's all Democrat party is what it is then, just under different names. So I think that's what we need to start realizing, waking up to, and, calling out basically what it is there. So, but anyway, I was looking at snow totals earlier today, is what it was. And for where I'm living at right now, we got about 12 inches outside. But yet, and then, of course, other parts of the area has gotten like 10, 11, something like that's what it is there. But yet, Stark County has not been declared as either a level 1, 2, or 3 snow emergency. Yet, Franklin County was declared as a 3. Coshocton County was declared as a 3. There's about 10 other counties that are declared as 3s. About an hour and a half ago is when Franklin County there in Columbus was downgraded back to a 2 now is what it is. They ended up getting like 10.8 inches, I think is what it was, in their the main part of the city there. And that was apparently the most they've ever gotten there. So it's pretty interesting. My sister's area got about 11.4, I think is what it was, to 11.8, something like that. And she and I were talking because I guess the way the snow drifts went down there in Columbus, the front door to her building had so much snow in front of it, it basically created like a snow door, is what it was there, where they can't even get out of the front door now, is what it is, because there's so much snow that has drifted in front of the door to where you can't push it out anymore, is what it is then. So, her plan right now, because I guess we're going to get more snow down there tomorrow. I don't know about us up here or not, but she was saying how there's supposed to be more snow there in Franklin County tomorrow. And her plan here in the next like 20 minutes or so when she gets off work is going to be to go out her back door of her place and shovel the snow off of her back patio area there, which I don't really know what's up. Well, I'm trying to think now. Is it really a patio, technically speaking? I guess it's more of a landing. Yeah, it's more of a landing. Because you could basically go out your back door there where she lives at and then like sit on the back area there, but it's like basically it's a landing for her and the other person that lives on the first floor there to go down the stairs is what it is there and leave from that area, because their car park garage area is like right there is what it is. So but anyway, so yeah, so that's basically her plan, is to go do that, is what it is, before she gets snowed in, basically is what it is there. And I'm like, because I was talking to her, I'm like, do you think I should, wipe the snow out in front of on my stoop there is what it is, / porch slab? And I'm like, I think maybe I should, but I'm not sure. And she's like, yeah, you probably should if it's going to be snow up there again. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right about that one. So yeah, I took my my broom out there a little bit ago, and it was probably like, when I measured, it was about 3 inches deep or so there. Might have been a little bit deeper than that though, but it was, I'll tell you what, like it was definitely like, however deep the bristles are, it was pretty much bristle deep at that point. And it was definitely like the hard snow packing, like snowball snow on top of and then there was like white fluffiness on top is what it is then. But when you got it together, like it was definitely hard as shit to like shove away from the doors what it is there. And then right next to my door, there was about 7.5 to 8 inches of snow there is what it was then, down to the ground. So I would not be the least bit surprised if right in the middle there was like at least 10 or 12 inches, honestly. Especially when the people that were in the apartment complex that is directly that way from me, they were out shoveling their snow last night, and they were like shoving it and throwing it in the middle piece. There's what it is. So if there was already like ear tensions there before that, they just threw like 2 or 3 more on top of it as it was then. So that being said, I also haven't heard anybody at all come through today. So I assume pretty much everybody is snowbound in, and nobody's really leaving their houses, is my guess, which is a good thing, obviously, because you don't need to. If you don't have to go to work, you don't need to go out, man, is what it is. I know some places are open here for the next few hours. Specifically, I know Giant Eagle is closing at like 4 o'clock today. I know one of the local produce places I go to, where I got that really good smoked Swiss from before, and I gotta get some more of that too, by the way, because that Walnut Creek smoked Swiss was fucking amazing, dude. That Lazy Baby Swiss is not great, though, is what it is. I've had that recently, and I don't know if my taste buds are changing or what it is. I used to like Lazy Baby Swiss quite a bit, and now it's just like, just tastes kind of awful to me, is what it is then. Or maybe people are changing their recipes of how they're producing it, maybe adding some chemical to it or something, that'd be the case, and who knows. But either way, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like some chemical preservative being added to the feed or something like that's what it is, of these cows that are producing the milk. So, but yeah, that smoked Swiss was like excellent though. I did a couple pieces on some eggs here the other day, and it was hard for it to melt in there initially, but I'll tell you what, when it did melt in though, it was so fucking good. It would have made some really good grilled cheese, honestly, too, for that matter. So, but anyway, what was I going to say then? Oh yeah, but yeah, like most of the places around here are just like closing like way early is what it is then. So, but yeah, Fern basically just slapped Ohio pretty good. The place that I realized got hit the most was basically Zanesville. Got almost 17 inches down there. It was like 16.9 or something was what their count was. So the 18-inch total was not completely accurate, but it was close enough. Basically, that's what it is there. And looking back at the blizzard of 78, My understanding is it was a 24-hour period that blizzard basically dropped 18 to 22 inches on the state of Ohio back then. So this was pretty fucking close, dude. Like Hurricane Fern was no joke, dude. Or not Hurricane Fern. Winter Storm Fern was no joke. So, but yeah, like I said, the people trying to compare the Rittenhouse situation and his self-defense shooting to Alex Pretti, basically trying to jump ice and then getting smoked. Like, there's no comparison, dude. And I said basically trying to because he was basically running up on ice is what it is there, with like the fucking camera in his hand, being all like, "Oh, what's going on there, man?" And yeah, you're just an idiot, bro. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, it's funny to me because people are like, "He had no idea," et cetera, there, dude. Like, this dude was 100% following the rules of Antifa tactics, is what it is, which is basically you go there with no ID, so you can't be identified by the cops or you get caught. You take a mask with you, etc., which I don't know if he did or not at that point, but his say he didn't have a mask on him is what it is then. And yeah, he was doing all kinds of fucking shady shit is what it is there, dude. Now, granted, that being said, he supposedly was a legal gunner as far as they're claiming now is what it is. But it is if that's actually the real truth, honestly, or not. My guess is it was probably he was a legal gunner the way that Gage Grosskreutz was a legal gunner, which is basically Gage Grosskreutz, who don't know, was one of the guys who killed Kyle Rittenhouse that night in Kenosha. Got his bicep blown off, was the only survivor because Kyle didn't blow his fucking brains out on that second shot is what it is then, which he should have. He was taking a second shot and just smoked that motherfucker on the spot is what it is then. But unfortunately, Grosskreutz just like was just off enough to where he got the bullet through his bicep instead of right through his fucking forehead, basically. And then, of course, Gage tried to sue Kyle since then. A bunch of other stuff. I don't know how those lawsuits ever won or not, but there's a bunch of BS lawsuits from him and then the other two idiots that Kyle actually shot and killed in self-defense. They're moron families. Yeah, the thing with Gage was he was legally carrying that night because he supposedly had a concealed carry weapons license, but he was also a convicted felon because he tried to, I don't know if he was burglarizing a house or he tried to home invade somebody is what it was there, one of those two things. But that was why he lost his licensing is what it was. So he had an illegal license to carry that was not technically valid at the time of his carrying that night in Kenosha is what it was there. So really, like I said, if anybody's going to compare anything with the Rittenhouse shooting, self-defense shooting, to Alex Pretti, it would be Gage Grosskreutz and Alex Pretti were two leftist idiot types of what it is there. And we're very much similar to each other as what it is there. So, but anyway. To interfere with law enforcement operations when we were young, said no one ever. Exactly. Because, well, that's the thing. If you did, you were just going to get killed what it is then. So, and I was trying to watch a Yankee stream last night when he had the panel with Honda and a couple other people in it. And, dude, I'll tell you what, like, Yankee is so far gone from the fucking COVID shots, it's not even funny anymore. Like, that dude is a complete moron with his takes on stuff like that. And then trying to sit there and call Trump fascist and little Hitler and all this other stupid bullshit. And it's like, yeah, pretty sure that would be that Jay guy that's your current governor, buddy. Or no, sorry, it's not Jay. It's Ferguson. That's who it was. Is the current governor of Washington State there, who was the AG, who was an anti-gunner since he was AG there. And it's the reason why Washington State has all the anti-gun laws in place it does now, just like how Gavin Newsom was the architect of basically California's gun laws for the past like 15 or 16 years now is what it is, when he was lieutenant governor and then eventually became governor himself as it is there. So my understanding was it was supposed to be like a that was this one. Yeah, my understanding is it was supposed to be a no FUD panel or something that Yankee did last night, or no FUD zone panel, so I forget exactly what he called the stream. But yeah, it was basically him bullshitting for 15 minutes and then sending links to people and people finally showing up and then him like, well, we need to have four on this to have an actual debate. And it's like, no, you don't, dude. Because the problem with that was what ended up happening was you basically had him and Honda go at it for like a little bit. and then they were just trying to talk over each other, and then you had like 2 or 3 other people trying to jump in there too. And so you basically had like anywhere from like 3 to 5 people like trying to talk at the exact same time, and it just sounded like a bunch of chipmunks going on. At basically what it was then, or like squirrels fighting or something. That's what it was then, or something. So, and there was like honestly, it was just like, don't get me wrong, I do love Honda to death. I love being on his panels and stuff like that, dude. But like honestly, like he really needs to stop using Grok AI for a bunch of fucking shit. Like, if you really need to have like legit stuff, dude, like get a hold of me before you go on these things, and I'll literally send you some shit that would show things. Use my autism to get weaponized is what it is then. And you got an actual human telling you what's up, and not some fucking AI based bullshit that was created that may or may not tell the truth, honestly. So, because it just makes you look like you're not ready for this whole thing is what it is then. And really, it just, the credibility kind of goes out the window is what it is at that point. So, which it seemed like the sad part about that whole panel was like most of them started using like various AI stuff then to like look up shit is what it is then, or look up like various code stuff is what it is then, like in real time. So, like, it seems like nobody was really prepared for that whole discussion, debate, panel, whatever you call it at that point. So, but yeah, it's just the whole thing just seems ridiculous what it is then. So anyway, not sure what the fuck that was. I was beating against something. That's basically what it was. I actually commented at one point, where it was about maybe an hour or so into the stream, where I said, this whole panel just seems like a experiment in retarded futility is what it is. So, because that's really what it was. It just came off as retarded futility is what it is then, because you basically have people like bitching and moaning, trying to change minds, but like nobody's changing anybody's minds what it is then. And everybody's basically trying to stick to their own guns what it is, metaphorically and physically speaking. So, but yeah, like I said, I don't know, man. Like, I've never really been a huge fan of Yankee Marshall in general, and like really like watching that whole stream last night, or at least Hana was there anyway until he left, because I think even he realized it was a experiment in retarded futility is what it is then. So, but yeah, just it was like the stupidest thing ever, basically. And Yankee just comes off as one of those guys where it's like, even if you could like change his mind about one thing or whatever, like he would just double down anyway and be like, nope, not gonna happen, bro. Because that's the thing, even in the Alex Pretti shooting, here's what it is. You even had it was the I think it was the police chief of Minneapolis there, where it happened at, who basically came out here like a day and a half or so ago is what it is now, and admitted straight up, he's like, oh, it doesn't matter what the facts of the case are, even if it does turn out that this guy was like in the wrong, like we're still going to say he was in the right, basically. And it's like, that's just, it just proves exactly why this is the problem with the political spectrum right now in America. And you have these fucking people, whether it be police chiefs, whether it be mayors, whether it be city councilmen, whether it be state reps, state senators, AGs of states, governors of states, secretary of states of states, etc., just need to get arrested out of office at this point, dude. Like, honestly, the worst thing that Trump has done right now is not invoke the Insurrection Act at basically a federal level in all 50 states, what it is then, and just take care of business is what it is. And now, granted, some people might say, that would be dictatorial and stuff like that. At this point, I don't give a fuck anymore, dude. Like, fuck it. This is what we need right now. We need a fucking dictator for like a day or two is what it is then. Somebody with enough balls to take care of the fucking problem, start arresting these governors out of office, arrest all these other assholes out of office, arrest these fucking rogue ass judges out of office that are obviously bought and paid for by Soros and Bilderberg and everything else like that, and take care of the fucking problem at every single level of government, And then at that point, it just goes back to being a constitutional republic after the fact is what it is then. So, I mean, it's like 220 right now. So, really, like I said, I was just trying to do a little, experiment is what it is there. So, still about half the can there is what it is, give or take. And I have like a full glass. I think these glasses are about 9 ounces, give or take. So I know you're drinking about 4 ounces or so right now. Plus, my back is hurting today, so anything I can do to, speed up the process is what it is. So the problem is, my understanding was Walz himself called in the Minnesota National Guard there in Minnesota. And the issue with that was, instead of actually having them arrest these people that are out there doing the various, low-key rioting, sociofied terrorism, etc. there, is that he basically instead had them set up some weird makeshift feed zone where they were giving these people coffee, donuts, and hot chocolate to stay out there and protest. And it's like, are you have a mobile toilet for them too there, buddy? You're going to fucking drop some porta potties for them there? Like, goddamn, seriously. It's fucking pathetic and disgusting is what it is, dude. And it really just shows, like, exactly why Walz Chi-Com ass needs to be fucking tossed out of office and into prison right now is what it is then. Minimum, I would say, honestly. And the same thing with all these other fucking people, too. Like, that's the thing. If you're going to be that dictator for, like, a day or two, like, it might need to be, like, some fucking gallows shit at that point, honestly. Because it ain't going to need to be arrests. It's going to need to be, like, some public executions, honestly. So, that's if Trump actually had the balls to do that, honestly, which I don't think he does. So it is. Do I think Vance has the balls to do it? Probably not. I think it would take somebody like whether it be the head of Border Patrol right now, or wait, is that good Border Patrol or is he ICE? Whoever the dude is, it's like in charge of ICE, basically, is what it is there. He might have the power. He might actually have the balls to do it, is what it is then. Or it would be like, I don't want to say Nick Fuentes type, but like basically whoever would be like the non-known person behind Fuentes is what it is there. Like the guy that would come up after him basically is what it is there. It would take that person to be in power to get shit done is what it is there. So, but yeah, like and that's the thing. I think we're gonna have to see like the most brutal violence possible to finally get this shit done is what it is then. Especially when there was a video that came out here today. It was Alex Jones is the one that was talking about it. And it was last night there in Minnesota. It was about 50 to 100 leftist people out there doing a riot at a random hotel there where 2 ICE agents were staying. No cops would come out there at all to do anything and take care of the fucking problem. And you ended up having, it was the 2 ICE agents had to basically use whatever munitions they had on them at that point that were non-lethal to basically toss into the fucking crowd and get them back is what it is then. Well, trying to call for backup and get somebody else there is what it is. And of course, cops weren't coming. And I think they eventually had like a unit of other guys come in there and basically get them out of there is what it is then. So, yeah, it's just completely insane is what it is, man. And it's more than enough for Insurrection Act at this point, honestly, dude. And I'm almost half wondering if the reason that Trump is not doing it right now is because he's just waiting to see something pop off enough to where one of these leftists would do something that would be like so bad that you would have to do stuff, like whether it be another mass shooting or something else for that matter. Like, I don't know what it would be at this point, honestly, that he's waiting for. Or if it's something where he's basically just trying to hold out enough to where midterms happen before this shit, or whatever the case may be. But the problem is right now, like, with the way things are going currently, I don't think we're going to have midterms is what it is. Like, I don't think we're even going to have primaries this coming spring and summertime is what it is, because I think we're going to have a fucking literal civil war by then is what it'll be then. Like, the way shit is popping off right now, Like, we are heading for a point right now where, like, both the left, the right, and the center at that point, so it'd be all three of those entities together, would finally just be like, fuck it, we're doing it all right now is what it is. And it's going to be fucking gloves off at that point. Like, I know there was some stupid bitch this morning, I saw the video there on X, where she was legitimately calling for curb stomping mega people and their kids, even if their kids are like 5-year-old children, is what it is there. And the thing about that is, it's like, this is exactly why so many of us carry a gun, pepper spray, knives, etc. Because we're not going to be fucking, victims of you fucking piece of shit leftist, dude. Especially not in stand your ground states. Like, you want to try that shit on me, bitch? Like, I'm going to fucking put your ass down. And I'll fucking say it right now is what it is. There'll be 18 fucking holes in you at that point. Minimum. So, because I'm just fucking sick and tired of this shit, man. And these people need to realize, like, they're not the fucking, they're going to unleash the beast. And when the beast is unleashed, it is not going to be a good time for them, man. Like, they're poking the fucking bear right now. And I've said this in the past, and I'll use this analogy again right now. You're poking at a hibernating bear right now. And when that bear wakes up, it's literally going to roar up, and it's going to go, and it's going to literally decapitate your ass, is what it is then with this fucking claw hand. And that's what these leftists don't realize, dude, is that you're waking a sleeping giant, literally. And when that giant awakens, it's going to be the one that, like, literally puts a boot in your fucking body, is what it is then. So, yeah. And that's exactly why so many of us in this 2A community right now fight for stand your ground laws, why we fight for constitutional carry laws. Because we're not going to be your fucking victims, is what it is. So, and like I said, the biggest issue right now is that you have these police either being told to stand down by a mayor or governor or something else for that matter. And the issue there is, like, when you're having that stand down orders be given and they're actually complying with that stand down order, they are actually derelict of their duty at that point. They need to be removed from their position of power, is what it is. They need to have that badge ripped off their fucking uniform and be put in handcuffs and be imprisoned. Because you are committing dereliction of duty, is what it is there, dude. You are failing to enforce the law. You are failing to stop the lawlessness in your city, in your state, etc. there. And then you got people like Yankee Marshall out there bitching of, oh, these ICE officers only have 47 days of training. And maybe we need more of these shit, honestly. Maybe we need more Americans out there, like Americans that are, the right wing at this point, kicking some leftist teeth in, honestly, at this point, honestly, dude, in uniforms. Maybe we need some more so-called jackbooted thuggery. So, if we'll get this country back in check, it's fucking, needs to be done is what it is, man. But, yeah, like I said, I think we're heading for civil war anyways, what it is. Like, it's just a matter of time before. I know Tim Pool was making a statement this morning on one of his videos where he said something about how it was like civil strife is what we're seeing right now, and I think he's kind of right about that one, honestly, where it's like the lead up to a civil war. So who's to say if it's going to be, 2 or 3 months down the road? Who's to say if it's going to be a year or two down the road, honestly? So, and I think and I think a lot of cases that is very true as well, is that you have these people who are committing all kinds of fraud, and yet we're not dealing with that as an issue. Like, they're basically like, that's why I think a lot of this stuff might just be psyops, is what it is then, because when you're committing a psychological operation as a distraction away from the real problem, which is the fraud, which is the third worlders in this country and the people that are in power for the Democrat Party, for rhinos, etc., that are helping these people out and are taking a giant kickback of the money that is being, defrauded from the American taxpayers, that is a huge fucking issue right now, is what it is. And I think that's what people fail to realize, is like, we are definitely getting the shaft at the end of the day, man. Like, we're getting fucked over by these people, left, right, and center is what it is. And I feel like when people finally wake up to that, it's going to be too late is the problem. So we're definitely in a bad situation all the way around is what it is right now. And I think it's just getting worse and worse by the day is what it is. So, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see like some crazy shit pop off very soon is what it'll be then. And when it does, it's gonna be a bad day for everybody, man. Like, it really is. And I think, unfortunately, it's gonna be one of those ones where maybe not everybody survives is what it is then. And, you know, as they say in the Hunger Games, may the odds be forever in your favor. Because that's pretty much what it is at this point, man. So, but nah, seriously though, I don't see our country getting better is what it is. I think it's just getting worse and worse. And, you know, like me just having an epiphany on camera here about a half hour or so ago of when you look at politics right now, especially federally, it's all the left in power right now, dude. Like, there is no two-party system. It's just one-party system is what it is right now, where it's 90s Democrats as the mega people, and then it's legitimately a bunch of people that have gone so far to the left that they've gone off a cliff, basically, on the left. And when you realize that is the case, like, it is a scary thought to think about right now, honestly, dude, because, yeah, it makes sense whether it's this so-called uni party, because it's all the same fucking party is what it is then. So, I never thought at 41 years old that it was going to be this kind of a deal. You know, I never thought I'd see this shit in my lifetime is what it is then, man. Where you basically have two heads of the exact same coin. Or really, it's just two-headed coin at that point that says Democrat, 90s Democrat. So, it's a sad situation all the way around. So, yeah, that's just not good, man. It's just not good at all. Makes you depressed, honestly. As if I need to be more depressed than I already am. Yeah. But hey, at least this fucking jackass who's living behind me is gone now. I know my neighbor guy that lives over that way. He had his buddy or somebody over last night. I don't even know if they really went to sleep or not, because I noticed that, like, I think maybe they nodded out or something for a couple hours when it is there or something, because I ended up nodding off for like a couple hours, and it was like 7:30 this morning. I heard him going and babbling on about something, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. So, but yeah, it just hasn't been a good day for me at all, though, because I've just been having to deal with stupid bullshit as it is then. So, and unfortunately, when that's your day, you're kind of irritated, and that's why you're day drinking is what it is then. So, just to be clear, that's why I'm day drinking is what it is. But no, Mickey's a good guy. That's what it is. He just, like I said, I don't think he realizes like how thin these walls can be is what it is then. So I'll go talk to him at some point after the snow recedes a little bit here, and maybe see if I can't be like, hey, dude, if you wouldn't mind like keeping it down at this time of day, if you're gonna be home, like, I'd appreciate it, because I'm trying to nap or whatever then. So, or even just sleep for that matter. So, anyway, I think he'd be receptive to that. Honestly, I think he'd be cool with it. Like, knowing that I'm obviously disabled and stuff like that. He seemed like a pretty good guy as what it is. So, and the other guy next to him, Cliff, he's a pretty good dude too, for that matter. So, just to be clear, those are not their real names. Those are just names I use for them, is what it is. So, they do start with the actual letters that I've used for that first letter anyway. But, yeah, those are not the real names, is what it is. So, and that's just me trying to do a layer of protection. Here's what it is where I'm living at right now. So it's less likely people will be able to find me is what it is then. That don't need to find me. So, but anyway, that being said, like I said though, the comparison that whether it be that savagely loud guy or whether it be anybody else for that matter is making, trying to compare Rittenhouse to Pretti is just fucking stupid. It's a stupid comparison, dude. It's literally a nothing comparison at all for that matter, and it's just stupid in general. So. But anyways, so I was checking something right now. Just trying to see if we the game that I'm part of. There is oh, okay. So that was under Yeah, I was trying to see where I was going to come out because we got 2 days left right now in the current season of the game I play in. And I was trying to see who took what right now. Well, that's some bullshit. We were first for like pretty much the entire season, and some other like super whale coalition came up and took the police station to get a bunch and take above us is what it is then. So we'll come in. The coalition I'm part of will be taking second place. First rewards is what it is then. Which sucks because we should be taking first place, first rewards. Which would have been 130 tokens for the gold tokens and then 150 frags. But instead we'll take 90 frags and 100 gold tokens. Which 100 gold is what you need to get a town hall skin is what it is there. So at least we get another skin, that's good. But yeah, that frag count is way lower than it should have been though. That's some bullshit. That does piss me off quite a bit actually. Yeah, that's what it is though. Sounds about right. Always number 2, never number 1. Just to be clear, I'm making a number 2 joke on that one. I just don't know. But yeah, it's just kind of. It sucks to think when you thought you were going to be, first place and you're taking second place. Now what it is, like, you never want to take second place, especially in a gunfight. So, I think the alcohol's kicking a little bit and making me a little bit silly now is what it is. So I think on that note, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Probably eat a little bit of bread and try to get a little bit of this booze out of my system is what it is done. And then probably drink the rest of this can is my guess. Before it gets super, super cold. Because as of somewhere between 6 and 7 tonight, we are under an extreme cold weather warning where it's going to be anywhere from -20 to -25 by sometime tomorrow. So, yeah, not going to be a fun time at all, man. And I told my sister earlier I was going to try and go in the bedroom and get something out of the closet, but I think I'll wait because I still have Yeah, I got like a bunch of jackets over here in the corner. And I think there's a blanket or something in the bag above them. And then there's another blanket over there that I can grab if I needed to. And then if I was really going to sleep in the chair down here, I'll most likely just grab like a bunch of thermal throws as it is done. Just do like a layered throw on me as it is done. So it'll be what I have on right now, which is basically the thermal long sleeve. My OSU throw that's kind of thermally. This little throw right here. I got a down feather throw that's on the thing right there that don't found me yet. That I could always put on. And then I'll have two different throws. One that's similar to the OSU one that's black in the bedroom there. And then I got my thermal blanket that Mom got a couple years ago. Back in like 2021 or so, or it was 2019, somewhere in there. She ordered off I think it was QVC or something like that. And I got that in the bedroom there that I could always put it around me as well. I basically do this one and then just put the other one around me like that. Just kind of sleep like that what it is there. And I think as long as I have that over my head and stuff like that, my ears would be good from the cold and my body would be warm enough to where I would, die hypothermia is what it is then. Plus with the heat on in here, it seems like I'd be good shape, obviously. That's, as long as the heat stays on is what it is then. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's, when it comes to the actual Alex Pretti shooting in general, though, I don't know if it was a good shoot or not, honestly. From what I've seen from the stuff, it looks like it was basically portrayed badly, is what I'll say, from the federal government. Like, they should have just come out and been like, no, we done fucked up. Like, this probably was not death warrant type of situation. Like, it was probably a arrest warrant situation or it was arrestable offense situation or whatever, but it wasn't like, shouldn't have killed this guy, basically. But that being said, don't fuck around. And maybe don't go to these things at all is what it is then. And you won't be having that issue with what it is then, man. And I know Yankees all bitching about that, about like people on the right like that being like, oh yeah, y'all are saying they shouldn't have been there. It's like, dude, I've been saying since Rittenhouse that none of those fucking people should have been there. This is me saying this for like 6 to 7 years now. That when it comes to these things, like, don't go to these things. You're not going to come out in a good place is what it is. You have to defend yourself. And I've been saying at least since the Kenosha shooting in self-defense with Kyle Rittenhouse there, that Rittenhouse, Zeminski, Huber, all these other idiots that got, shot by Rittenhouse that night, Grosskreutz, etc., none of them should have been there. Had the fucking stupid-ass rioters not fucking rioted and tried to steal shit, it would have never come to that situation there is what it is. Just like here with Alex Pretti. Had Pretti not going out there and tried to fucking be a white knight for Renee Good's dumbass after her fucking death that she caused herself is what it is there, he'd probably still be alive and be an ear nurse right now is what it is then. So, and that's the problem with these people, dude. Like, these people just don't get it, man. Like, just don't go at all. Like, there's a reason why I don't go to fucking events like this, dude, because I think they're going to turn into riots is what it is then, and I don't want to be part of that is what it is then, especially if I'm armed, for God's sakes. I don't want to be a fucking target is what it is, man. Because the thing with me is I have to fight. Like, there's no way that with my bum knee and me carrying a cane and stuff like that, that it wouldn't turn to me pulling a gun on people. That's what it is, man. So there's a reason why I don't go to these things. Because I'm not going to be the victim of people is what it is, man. Especially not some leftist piece of shit fucking thug is what it is then. So I'll be standing my ground every single time is what it is there. And if it's one, maybe two, I might just pull out like a can of pepper spray and just, start spraying and stuff like that. But if it comes down to if it was like a gang of like 10 or 20 dudes, I'm just pulling a gun and just start firing at the fucking crowds what it is then. So, and if it comes to a mag reload, it comes to a mag reload what it is then. So, but again, that's why I don't go to these things in the first place. because I don't want to come down to that is what it is there. Like, I know better. I'm smart enough to know to not be there is what it is. And I think that's what the problem is with a lot of these people, dude. Their IQ level has dropped in the past anywhere from 6 to 7 years now. And a lot of them in their 20s and 30s are not smart enough to just not be there in the fucking first place is what it is then. So it's like, yeah, don't fuck around. You won't find out, man. Like, just go to work. Seriously, go to work, do your job, save lives, whatever the case be, and you'd be better off is what it is, man. So don't think you're some bulletproof superhero is what it is, man. Because the reality of the matter is you might be, in some cases, people's supervillain is what it is there. And they might see you as a supervillain and not a superhero is what it is, man. So, and your death is going to be meaningless at the end of the day. So it's like, what's even the point, man? Like, don't be that suicidal, empathetic person for real. And it won't be an issue anymore. So, anyway, that being said, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Stay warm. Stay alive in this winter hell that is Winter Storm Fern. And as long as I still have power and it's not retardedly cold tomorrow, I'd be like wearing socks as mittens at that point, because I think that might be what it comes to, honestly, at some point down the line. I feel like I need to look around for a minute, because I swear I have a pair of gloves here someplace that I bought recently. So I just need to find that bag and pull those out of what it is then. So I can at least have those on hand if I need, gloves to put on or whatever the case be then. I can just go grab them. That's what it is real quick. But yeah, so anyway, basically it is what it is. So, but yeah, like I said, man, hopefully everybody's staying safe, staying warm, keeping your guard up, and basically surviving this crazy winter weather that we're having now is what it is. And hopefully you will survive this winter weather, because you never know. It might be a situation where when the time comes, you're going to need to realize that you are able to survive things that you thought you weren't able to survive. And, what good old quote that they used to say, whatever does not kill you makes you stronger. That is the case. So, that means that your blood's a little bit thicker in these cold states. Good. My condolences do go out, though, to the people that lost their lives during this storm. I'm very sad for those people, especially those in the southern states that, are not used to this cold and their blood is super thin. Yeah, you can literally freeze to death very quickly because of this stuff. So my suggestion, if you don't have it already, man, like, go out there and get it. If you can get out there and get it, go out there and get it. If you don't have the winter coats, you don't have the winter clothes, you don't have the winter supplies, as long as you can get it, go out there and get it, man. And hopefully there's going to be people out there that aren't trying to price gouge you for it. So, but yeah, I think my plan is going to be, if worse comes to worse and it does get super, super cold, I'm going to take my hat that my aunt got me several years back now. That's sitting over there in the corner. Well, I guess it's not technically the corner, to be like the pathway that I go towards the bathroom then. So it'd be like right off the edge here. So it'd be maybe like 4 to 5 feet away from me right now. If I get up, it's in one of the top of my coat there in the tote that's empty right now. Yeah, I'll just grab the hat out of there is what it is then, throw it on my head, because it can cover my ears and stuff like that too. And that would be able to keep me warm through the night and the -24, -25, whatever it is they're calling for now. So with this extreme coldness. And hopefully this does not turn into a day after tomorrow situation, because if it does, yeah, I think we're all fucked. So I don't think it matters where you're at that point. Like you're probably gonna die where you're at. That's what it is. But yeah, freezing to death will not be fun, and hopefully it doesn't come to that. So my plan right now is I'm gonna go, like I said, make some food, drink this rest of this drink is what it is then, and everything else. Before we leave though, we'll talk about that real quick. So my review on the Ice Smash Blue Raspberry Lemonade here. Is it worth the like $3 I paid for it? Not really. It does not taste like lemonade at all. It just tastes like a weird like blue raspberry chemically mix with alcohol in it. So would I buy this again? Probably not. Do I think the Mike's Hard Lemonade ones are way better, especially the strawberry and the black cherry ones? Yes. So the only reason I didn't buy a pack of those the other day was because I didn't have room in my fridge to shove that whole case is what it is. Then I really want to pull a couple out and throw them in there, because I know they're supposed to be kept cold after they're in the cold is what it is there. So, but yeah, if I had the space in my fridge, I would definitely have gotten a whole 12-pack of those what it is then. But I figured, hey, here's some stuff sitting on the corner. Let me go ahead and try one of these is what it is. And if I like it, maybe I'll buy another one. If I don't like it, again, that was $3 at the door is what it is then. So, but yeah, basically, it's somewhere in the middle for me. It's not. I don't even think it's as good as the Arizona watermelon, the hard watermelon stuff they have out there. But yeah, it is what it is. It's something to drink. It's something to, take the edge off of my body pain and my arthritic issues and stuff like that for a little bit. So, it is what it is, man. It's a $3 self-medication can, basically. You might as well call it that. So, anyways. But, yeah, that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this stream, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Always be situationally aware. And if you can get out when you can, man, because you never know. And my suggestion to all the homeowners out there right now would be, if you don't have one yet, get yourself a generator, man, because now is the time to have these things. You never know what's going to happen then. So, anyway. Other than that, I will see you guys probably tomorrow for another Grandstand. We will do another winter storm update for Fern in that one. And if anything else emerges from the Alex Pretti shooting situation, I'll update on that one as well. I don't think anything more really will. Obviously, the U.S. government's response is anti-gun bullshit. A bunch of leftists are now basically calling for arming up. And I think we're really just slow rolling ourselves into a second revolution at this point, honestly, dude. That's going to start as a civil war is what it is then. So, that being said, it might just be a color revolution from the left at this point, and if that is what it is, then it needs to be put the fuck down is what it is. And if that means it can be put the fuck down through an Insurrection Act invocation, then Trump needs to get off his ass as president, dude. That's what it is then. So, and really, the thing about, especially for people like Yankee sitting there talking about Trump being a fascist and little Hitler and all of their shit like that, dude, that just shows you have no real argument against what he's doing, and that you're just a fucking idiot. That's what it is. Because only idiots will sit there and start name calling because they know they have no real argument to fight back against an actual, facts of the case and facts of the situation that's going on around this country politically. What is there? So, do I back everything Trump does? No. Do I think Trump's made a lot of really shitty endorsements right now for governor races and everything else like that in this 2026 midterm election cycle? Yes. Do I think Vivek is possibly the worst endorsement Trump has made? Yes. Will I be voting for other people in that governor's race, like Casey Butch? Yes. That's if we would have a governor's race here. That's if we would have primaries here come May. That's if we're not already in a freaking Second American Civil War, color revolution type situation. So, yeah, it all just depends right now. Because it could just be us all fighting for our lives then, you know? And I don't know what it's just going to look like when the dust settles. Hell, I might die on the first day or two, honestly. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going down without a fight, is what it is then. And I will take as many of these motherfucking traitors of this country with me as I possibly can, is what it is then. So, anyway, on that note, I'm going to call it a day. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. And always be ready, because you never know how truly crazy something is going to be until these psychotic lunatics finally pop something off, is what it is. And when they do pop it off, it's going to be a bad day for everybody involved, man. And I don't think they're going to realize the true thunder that they're going to unleash, is what it is. Because it's just going to be, they think it's going to be thunder, and it's going to be a lightning strike hitting them right in the face. So, anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow for another Grandstand. Until then, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Later, y'all. Peace out.